Part 3 of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is stuffed with Easter eggs, hidden references and monstrous secrets buried in each episode. Yippee-ki-yay movie lovers, I'm Jan, and in this video I'm revealing 28 devilish details you might have missed in Chilling Adventures Season 3, including the Riverdale Easter eggs that reveal a very weirdly connected universe. There will of course be spoilers, so take care if you haven't caught up. Part 3 opens with Sabrina's terrifying nightmare of wandering into hell and discovering Nick encased in stone. It's a clever bit of foreshadowing for Sabrina's own fate later in the season, when she gets trapped in the ninth circle of hell by Caliban. It's not until the 7th episode that Robin reveals he's a hobgoblin to Theo, but there was a clue to his true identity all the way back in the 4th episode, when CARCOSA called Robin by his full name.
Thank you for warning us, Robin Goodfellow.
The name Robin Goodfellow is often used in English folklore for a mischievous sprite or hobgoblin, and in English mythology and literature such as Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, Robin Goodfellow also goes by the name of Puck. Chilling Adventures begins to introduce new monsters into its universe when Blackwood calls upon an amphibian-like beast to rise out of the waters of Loch Ness. Blackwood calls the creature the Deep One, the same name as a species of water-dwelling monsters from H.P. Lovecraft's novella The Shadow over Innsmouth. And another of Lovecraft's sci-fi horrors is referenced when Zelda weighs up the Coven's options to avoid getting killed by the pagans.
We could flee, perhaps, to the Mountains of Madness.
At the Mountains of Madness is a novella by Lovecraft that features a dangerous alien civilization in Antarctica that lies beyond a mountain range even higher than the Himalayas. And the word CARCOSA, the name of the malevolent carnival leader who arrives in Greendale, first appeared in several 19th century short stories as an ancient mysterious city, before being used as a name of an alien city within the Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos. In that universe, CARCOSA is home to Hasta, a monstrous deity who's also known as the Unspeakable One, something which ties into how Blackwood describes the eldritch terrors he plans to bring into the world.
Return to me the egg, and we'll bear witness to the birth of the unspeakable.
CARCOSA and the pagans plan to resurrect their old gods in an event they call the Great Flowering. For the ceremony, they place a sacrificial virgin inside a giant green plant statue, much like the virgin sacrifice that a group of pagans carry out inside a giant Wicker Man statue in the 1973 horror movie The Wicker Man. And the pagans in Greendale also wear animal masks at the coven's Hare Moon celebration, just like the pagans do in The Wicker Man. At the carnival, the Ferris wheel that Theo and Robin ride is called the BERLANTI wheel, an Easter egg to prolific TV producer Greg Berlanti, whose shows include Chilling Adventures, Riverdale, Arrow, Supergirl and You. This season also includes several references to the modern horror movie MIDSOMMAR about a pagan cult. In Chilling Adventures, when Sabrina returns to find the pagans have created an apocalypse on Earth, she's startled by a couple of plant-like human zombies who appear to have a pair of yellow flowers growing in their eyes. This is a creepy nod to one of the pagan human sacrifices in the movie, whose victim also had yellow flowers in his eyes. In fact, Sabrina showrunner Roberto Aguirre Sacasa has specifically said that films like that and The Wicker Man were always the kind of horror that he wanted to get to play with and infuse into Part 3. And the flower crowns the Greendale coven wear for the Hare Moon Festival, which are an ancient tradition used in many pagan ceremonies, also recently appeared in MIDSOMMAR. After arriving in hell, Sabrina asks Caliban how they can get to Pandemonium, and he answers,
"Follow the blood-red road where it flows, and there you'll find the throne of hell."
That advice is a bloody reference to the Wizard of Oz and the Good Witch of the North's instructions to Dorothy on how to reach the Emerald City.
All you do is follow the yellow brick road.
And like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, Sabrina and the gang also come across their own Tin Man in the form of Tommy, Harvey's brother who died in the first season of Chilling Adventures. Like the classic movie's Tin Man, Tommy also has problems with his heart. But while the original Tin Man believed he lacked a heart, Tommy's heart is on the outside of his tin costume. Another classic tale is referenced in Hell's Forest of Torment. When Sabrina and Roz go to pick the fleur-du-mal that Dorian Gray has asked them to collect, Sabrina warns her friend that if they prick themselves on the flower's thorns, they'll go to sleep and never wake up. That was also the fate of the princess in Sleeping Beauty when she pricked her finger on a cursed spinning wheel.
It's like something out of a fairy tale.
And remember that Princess Aurora was also known by the prickly, flowery name of Briar Rose. Also in Chilling Adventures, the flower even sings and calls to Sabrina and Roz, luring them into a potential trap, similar to how Maleficent entranced and tricked Aurora into pricking herself. And later, after they bring Nick back from hell to the mortal world, Sabrina wakes him with a kiss, akin to how Sleeping Beauty was woken from her curse. The evil flower that Dorian Gray asked Sabrina to get for him is also a reference to a set of poems by Charles Baudelaire called Les Fleurs du Mal. Appropriately for Chilling Adventures, Baudelaire's collection of poems includes one called The Litanies of Satan, which fiercely criticised the 19th century church, and also inverted several prayers from the Catholic Mass and substituted Mary's name with Satan's. Likewise, Chilling Adventures also likes to flip common religious expressions.
In other words, back the heaven off.
And in Part 3, Zelda's prayer, Hail Lilith, is an inversion of the traditional Catholic prayer, Hail Mary.
Hail Lilith, full of disgrace. Cursed are you amongst women, and cursed is the fruit of thy womb, demons.
Sabrina manages to reverse the pagan apocalypse, but in the process she also decides to allow a double of herself to exist at the same time. This twin Sabrina situation is something that already occurred in the 90s sitcom Sabrina the Teenage Witch. At the end of the 3rd season of the old school show, Sabrina met her identical twin Katrina, and they had to undergo a test to find out which sibling was the evil one. When the test revealed that Sabrina's sister Katrina is the evil sibling, Katrina was sent to live in the Twin Cities in a place known as the Other Realm. While one Sabrina returns to Greendale in Chilling Adventures, the other goes to Hell, where Lilith prepares her for a full-time role as Queen of Hell. Sabrina's style, including her coronation dress and white makeup, evoke the look of English Tudor monarch Elizabeth I, who was known as the Virgin Queen, and whose reign included the attempted invasion of England by the Spanish Armada. On top of that, Sabrina's coronation seems to pay specific homage to the final scene of the late 90s movie Elizabeth, with each Queen's people bowing down to her and touching her dress, and the Queen signalling her ascent to the throne with a little hand gesture. The parallels between Queen Elizabeth I and Queen Sabrina of Hell become even more striking when Lilith speaks to Sabrina about what's in store for the new young queen.
Every queen must be made battle ready. Every girl must prepare for war. Let nothing touch you. Let no man hold power over you.
And emphasising that at least hellbound Sabrina will be uninterested in love, Sabrina tells Lucifer,
I am ready, Father, to be married to hell.
Much as Elizabeth I was considered as being wed to her kingdom. In Part 3, Ambrose plays a key part in events when he and Prudence track down Father Blackwood, who's gone into hiding in Loch Ness, Scotland. When they arrive, Ambrose explains that he already has some knowledge of the location.
Loch Ness lies atop a powerful rift. Aleister Crowley himself once harnessed his energies for his own higher magics.
Ambrose's familiarity with Crowley's life stems from a time when Crowley acted as a kind of mentor to Ambrose.
My boy, how did you ever end up as part of a plot to blow up the Vatican?
A young Crowley. He was brilliant, charismatic, and devoted to the Dark Lord.
In real life, Aleister Crowley was an English occultist who gained notoriety for many things, including establishing the religion of Thelema, aspects of which have inspired Wicca and Satanism. And like in the show, Crowley did actually live in Loch Ness for a period of his life. The show's 9 circles of hell are inspired by Dante's Inferno, a drawing of which appears in the background on a school blackboard in the first episode. Another clue that by the end of Part 3, Sabrina will travel all the way to the 9th circle of hell. In Dante's epic poem, the 9th circle is reserved for people who've committed treachery, including Judas Iscariot. So it's fitting that that's where Caliban tricks Sabrina and betrays her trust. On top of that, the 9th circle is also where Sabrina breaks a promise she made to future Sabrina to complete the time loop by taking her place in the stone prison. By the way, the fact that Chilling Adventures encases its traitors in stone is another hat tip to Dante's Inferno, where most of those condemned to Hell's 9th circle are trapped in ice. Also in Ms. Wardwell's classroom is another blackboard where you can spot a mention of Paradise Lost, an epic poem by John Milton. It was in Paradise Lost that Milton coined the term pandemonium for the capital of hell. Not only is pandemonium a crucial location in Part 3, but Caliban himself is also sculpted from the city's clay. The backstory for Herod's crown also notably connects to the history of one of Riverdale's most significant families, the Blossoms. In Part 3, Ambrose discovers that this first item of the unholy regalia was passed between numerous people, the last known one being
Private Benjamin Blossom, who recovered the crown from Hitler's bunker in 1945.
Interestingly, Ambrose goes on to explain that when Benjamin Blossom brought Herod's crown back to Riverdale, he was murdered by a group of occultists who wanted possession of the magical unholy relic. When Sabrina and Ambrose visit Riverdale to locate the crown, they discover it's hidden in a maple syrup tree, which is especially fitting because maple syrup has been part of the Blossom family business. In fact, the connection between the Blossoms and King Herod seems particularly appropriate, as history and myth remember Herod for having executed numerous male children, including several of his own sons. And of course, Season 1 spoilers for Riverdale, that show kicks off with the murder of Jason Blossom, who it's later revealed was killed by his own father, who was using the family syrup business as a front for selling drugs. It's interesting that actor Jonathan Whitesell, who plays Robin the Hobgoblin in Sabrina, also played the part of Kurtz on Riverdale. Kurtz was a member of the Gargoyle Gang. But how can the same actor play two different characters in two shows that are supposedly connected? Well, perhaps it could be another example of the recurring theme of twins in both shows. In Chilling Adventures as the Blackwood twins, Principal Hawthorne's twin who was absorbed in the womb, the image of Hilda and Zelda as conjoined twins, and now after much hinting in previous seasons, Sabrina has a double too. Or perhaps it's all part of the shape-shifting ability of Puck or Robin Goodfellow characters in English folklore. When Sabrina approaches Jimmy Platt's ice cream truck, you can see it reads A Chilling Adventure. This isn't just a play on the title of the show though, it's also a hint at the chilly fate that awaits Sabrina later in the episode, when she ends up trapped in the evil ice cream seller's freezer. Curiously, the same actor who plays Jimmy Platt is also going to appear on an episode of Riverdale as a quiz show host. This again raises the question of how the same actor can play different characters in a shared universe. Previously, in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Chilling Adventures and Riverdale showrunner Roberto Aguirre Sacasa explained how Ben, a character who's already dead in Riverdale, later showed up as a pizza delivery guy in Greendale. According to Aguirre Sacasa, Ben's cameo suggests a very deep mythology where time and space bend. And even though Ben was dead in Riverdale, in Greendale everyone pops up. The dead don't stay dead long there. There's an amusing reference to the crazy events that go on in Greendale's neighbouring town when we see the Welcome to Riverdale sign. On the back you can spot some Jughead graffiti, which dubs the town Murder Capital of the World. And in the Riverdale spin-off show Katie Keene, Josie also refers to her hometown in the same way.
I am from Riverdale. It is the murder capital of the world.
After Hilda turns into Spider Hilda, she asks Dr. C to get her a hamburger and a milkshake from a diner in Riverdale, undoubtedly referencing everyone's favourite meeting place in Riverdale, Pop's Chocolate Shop. Spider Hilda also ends up eating a Riverdale Southside Serpent gang member who wanders into Dr. C's bookstore looking for something to eat. Another Riverdale actor who makes an appearance on Chilling Adventures is Natalie Bolt, aka Penelope Blossom. Spoilers for Riverdale, the nefarious mastermind behind the Black Hood and the Gargoyle King. In Chilling Adventures, she pops up in New Orleans. However, it turns out it's not the real Penelope Blossom, but rather Prudence, who's using Penelope's form for a glamour trick while she and Ambrose are on the hunt for Blackwood. The title of the final episode, Sabrina is Legend, is an intriguing reference to the 2007 movie I Am Legend, based on the book of the same name. The movie is known for its alternate ending in which, spoilers for the film, Will Smith gets a happier ending than the original one shown in cinemas. Likewise, in Chilling Adventures, Sabrina creates an alternate and happier timeline for herself when she decides not to complete the time loop as future Sabrina advised. And if you want to know much more about the consequences Sabrina will face in part 4 as a result of altering the timeline, watch my Ending Explained video. You can tap the link here or click the link in the video description. So did you spot any other cool details or references in part 3? And what were your favourite moments this season? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then a like and a share are hugely appreciated. Tap left for my next Sabrina video or tap right for another video you're sure to like. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!